The Sioux Falls School District prides itself on providing multiple pathways for student success. We know not every student learns in the same way, at the same speed, or in the same environments. There may be no better example of how variety can lead to success than the senior you're about to meet. An alternative project-based high school, dual credit courses, internships, and business partnerships have this student on a rapid path to business ownership. In this episode of Senior Spotlight, we travel to New Tech High, where one senior has simply decided to make his dreams a reality. New Tech High senior Nicholas Boehmer checks off a lot of the traditional boxes that you'd see in a senior spotlight. He's in National Honor Society. He's a school leader.
Since I arrived at New Tech as a freshman, I applied to be a Titan ambassador, and so because New Tech is an application-based school where you actually have to apply to get in, we actually send people out to recruit our students to come here. And so I really wanted to go out there, and because New Tech had such a positive experience on me, I wanted to go out and tell people, you know, this is a great school. You should give it the opportunity and come try it out. And I really liked hosting visitors. And so that was a program I really wanted to be a part of. And since freshman year, I've been hosting guests, recruiting, things like that. Sophomore year, I had the opportunity to apply to join our student council, which we call Titan Voice, and I won that election. And so I've sat on Titan Voice since freshman year, working to coordinate the school dances, some of the school fundraisers, and just kind of recognition as well. We do celebrations every semester, and so Titan Voice kind of leads that up, making sure all the teachers get recognition for their hard work and things like that. And then this year, every year, the senior class votes on 2 class officers, or our class co-chairs, and then they also sit on Titan Voice, and so I was elected as one of those. And so I work with my fellow co-chair to plan prom, our senior class cookout, just kind of some of those senior exclusive things that somebody has to choose.
Nick is part of the leadership. Nick is one of our ambassadors. Nick serves as a tour guide for a lot of the schools that come in and visit. He helps show new students around. He's a leader in his house. We have different houses where seniors, juniors, sophomores, and freshmen work together on projects, and Nick is one of the leaders in his houses. And then just walking up and down the hallway, Nick carries himself with a sense of pride, a sense of purpose, and really has a sense of identity of who Nick really is. And it shows because he's super pleasant. He's really nice. He treats people with respect. Doesn't matter if they're teachers or freshmen, Nick just knows how to treat people well.
He's a peer mentor in this class, which means he's a priceless resource for underclassmen.
Well, peer mentoring is, many times it's usually a class that he's already taken or a student has already taken, so that they already know the type of projects that you do in there. And so what he becomes kind of like a teacher assistant, and Nick did a really good job with that. He's very good about helping students understand where I'm coming from when maybe they don't quite get it when I explain it. And he does a really good job with critical friends, which is a big portion of our environment, I guess is the word I'm looking for. And he does a great job with that. And that's just giving feedback to help students make their products that much better. I think that he became somebody that I would always say to the students, okay, if you want another voice besides mine, go see Nick. And then Nick would talk to them and help talk them through something, kind of maybe give them a different side, the student side of it, of maybe what he did, so that they can kind of help figure out if that's what they want to do and the route they want to go with the project they're working on.
But even beyond that capacity, in any traditional class, Nick is a huge asset.
It's fun to watch because he's very good at kind of molding his teammates to kind of help him do what he has for an idea, but yet he takes ideas from other people and just runs with them as well. And he does a really good job of working together with them. Perfect example is last semester, at the beginning of the semester, he got into a group with 2 other students, and they decided they wanted to stick together for all of the projects throughout the semester. Kept their whole ideas together. They ended up working really, really well together. They, kept each other on task and that type of thing. And so then this semester, they ended up having to split up between my 2 marketing classes. Well, of course, they proposed to me that they wanted to keep their team together. And as much as I would like to have tried to do that with 2 different periods, it didn't quite work. And so our compromise is they basically are still the same team, but they are like 2 different divisions. It was a compromise that we did so that they still have the opportunity to work together a little bit.
We can't get very far into this story without mentioning Nick's class schedule. which, while it starts off pretty normally,
So I get here every morning, 8 o'clock for the first class of the day, and I have marketing. It's my second semester taking marketing, and so in there we're learning about sports marketing, inbound marketing, just kind of all the strategies used in marketing to customers. And it's been really nice getting to it in project-based. We get to actually work with the school store here and work with community partners over at Zeal. And so that's kind of been one of my favorite classes I do. And then after that, I actually created a class this semester for myself called the Entrepreneurial Independent Experience. So during that time, I am learning about what it takes to be a business owner, what it takes to create a business, and actually going through and creating a business plan and a marketing plan, doing SWOT analysis, market analysis, all those things for my own personal brand. After that class, I am taking a dual credit course at Southeast Tech, doing online speech, and so kind of getting some college credits out of the way for a cheaper price before I actually have to pay college for that. And then after that, I do marketing co-op in the afternoon. And so that is kind of our work for credit. And so I took an internship at the Best Western Plus Ramcoda, which is just a few blocks north of here. And up there I do cooking in their kitchen. And so I do that a couple days a week for about 10 hours a day. So
there's much more to explore. Yes, you heard that right. Nick created a high school class for himself.
I was looking at kind of what I wanted to do, and I really liked the idea of entrepreneurship. I took Entrepreneurial Mindset, which is a class we offer here, and I really liked the idea of creating my own business, and I kind of wanted to do that. And I figured while I'm in high school, I have all these resources available to me. I have all these teachers, all the resources the school district provides, as well as New Tech has a lot of connections with community partners, other entrepreneurs over at Zeal. And so I figured this was the perfect atmosphere for me to learn and get started. And so I just drew up a plan, wrote out, how I'd be graded, what assignments I'd have to complete, how the class would work, kind of an overview of it all. And then I turned it into both the principal and my teacher, and they went through and looked at it and said, well, we can't do this, we can't do this, we're gonna have to add this. And so they all added their comments and how they felt about it, and then gave it back to me. I said, yeah, that looks good. And then we just went through and found a way to make it work, make it classified as a class. We actually took the course code from CTE's Senior Experience Capstone and classified it under that because they were similar enough. It's something I really took the initiative on, saying I wanted to do it, and I pushed for it, and they managed to make it work for me, worked with me on how it would work and what I wanted it to look like. So.
To begin with, I was like, okay, I wasn't sure how this was going to work either, because we kind of had to sit down and talk about what we wanted it to be. We kind of based it off of our art independent study, which is really that students wanted just a little bit more than what there currently is in our curriculum. And Nick was the perfect candidate for this particular idea to kind of formulate into a course itself. He's definitely thinking outside the box type of student. He took the entrepreneurial mindset, which really helped him decide that, but it also helped narrow down his choices of he thought he wanted to start his own business, and he kind of has been working with entrepreneur outside of our school already. And so then we just sat down and he just said, well, here's some ideas that I have. And I said, okay, write them down. Let's see where we're at. And then I gave him some of my ideas, and then he formulated it, put it into this whole class, knowing full well that my expectations as a teacher, because he's had me enough times as a teacher, and then kind of what he had envisioned what he wanted to do, and then we proposed it to Mrs. Jorgensen, and then I did all of the basic stuff of this is how it's going to be graded, this is what we're going to do, this is how you have to check in with me, that type of thing. So it was an interesting process. I'd never done it before, but Nick was obviously a great candidate for that.
You also heard him mention his job at the Ramcoda, where he does the cooking for catered events.
I took internship class last semester as one of my classes here during my third block, and I got up there and I really wanted to experience hotel management. And so I worked with the general manager, and he said, I'm going to put you in each and every department that they have up there. So they have maintenance, housekeeping, food, front desk, catering. And so I went to each of these departments and worked with every one of them, and I got a lot of job offers actually from each department. I ended up really liking the kitchen though. And so I'm currently working up there and helping prep for events anywhere from 12 people to 1,500.
When he says he experienced every department, that maybe doesn't sink in for everyone, nor does the fact that this exploratory introduction to a hotel has manifested in a demanding and extremely important role.
Few people are blessed with the ability to look at a problem and see 7 or 8 different solutions. Even fewer are blessed with the ability to go, this is going to be the best one. If not, this is my plan B. And Nick has that ability to bounce. Okay, this isn't working quite like I wanted to, so we're going to try this instead. And he's so fluid in that. Part of that's that motivation. Part of it's that going to idea, that going to mentality. But also part of it is that he has such a breadth of knowledge, that he has excelled in so many different things, and that he's dabbled in so many things. You don't get to start planning and running events for a hotel at the age of 18 when you started cleaning toilets unless you show some sort of problem solving next step skills. And that's really what's cool about Nick, is that he figures out a way every single time. Nick has learned that if he sets his mind to something, he can do it. And to see that come to fruition, whether it's in his culinary classes and then ending up working down at CH Patisserie downtown, whether it's doing an internship at the hotel and that turning into a job as well, Nick has learned that if he gets a foot in the door, that he has the skills and, more importantly, the ability to learn that other people see as a gift or as a skill that will then motivate him, accelerate him down whatever path he chooses. And I think Nick's confidence, not necessarily in his skill set, but in his ability to learn a skill set, has really got him moving in the direction that he's going.
It would be interesting enough that Nick's initiative and drive took one internship and turned it into a job. But that wouldn't include his other internship, which also turned into another job.
Yeah, so I've been working with Andy Jorgensen for about 2 years now. He actually came to New Tech looking for interns when I was a sophomore, and I got one of those positions. And so I've been working with him doing both operations for his business, which he owns Fire Brothers Fireworks, and he focuses on selling fireworks online, which is a concept that's completely new to the fireworks industry. Most of the people in that industry really don't even think about selling online, just because it's such a hassle with the Department of Transportation regulations and things like that. And so I've worked with him on operations and website setup for that, as well as I do client work with him. He provides some digital marketing and digital solution services to small businesses in South Dakota. So I work with him on websites and marketing, things like that. Our internship technically ended at the end of the summer of my sophomore year. And so since then, he just kind of kept me on board, and I just continued to do work for him. So
It's not surprising that his teachers wish they could bottle up his spirit and share it with others.
Because Nick is a great kid, first of all. His personality is a very outgoing personality. He's very social, and yet sometimes he's very reserved too. Like, he will sit back and wait and kind of view things before he'll say something. But he's willing to try something and not afraid to fail, I think, is a big part. And I'm not sure he was always like that. I've only known him as in his upper level classes of his high school career, and I don't know, maybe he wasn't like that when he was a freshman, but he always kind of knew that what he wanted to do was trying to find that path. I think it took him a little bit, but yet he's not afraid to try something, and I think that was, me giving him the opportunity to do that. I think that also helped him decide, yeah, I'm just going to run with this because she's willing to listen to me, and maybe that, I don't know. I think this school kind of alludes to that a little bit too, and can help that, and can help foster that inquisitiveness that he actually has, and just trying to figure it out what it is I actually want to do. And he's done a great. I'm not sure if he's really 100% sure still, but he's got a pretty good idea and a pretty good handle right now.
Nick has the remarkable ability to take something he's passionate about, like cooking.
What I always say when asked about how I started cooking, when I was probably about 7 years old, I was being left alone in the summers with my brother, who's a couple years older than me, and he really refused to make lunch every day, so I had to learn to cook for us. And I just kind of started with Kraft mac and cheese and started experimenting. What if I add more butter? What if I add more milk? And from there, I just kept wanting to cook more and more. And then when I entered high school, I heard about the opportunities offered at the CTE Academy. And so I actually took the Pro Start program down there, which is their culinary arts program. And I went through both the first and second class that they offer, and then did a entrepreneurship capstone down there. And so during that time, I worked in a commercial kitchen setting, learned the knife skills, safety, the commercial equipment, things like that. And then I also competed twice at the South Dakota State Pro Start Invitational, which is a culinary competition. And then I competed once at the Skills USA National Convention for restaurant service. And so I got to go down to Kentucky and compete against people from all over the rest of the country. And I ended up placing 6th in that one.
And combine it with the background and logistics needed to make it into a legitimate business. Something it sometimes takes multiple people to accomplish when a new business is started. But he's already on his way.
As far as like my actual cooking and stuff goes, I really do, like CT really helped me with that. Before I entered the Pro Start program, it really, I could identify myself that I could cook, but I didn't feel like I could do it that well. But after going through a couple years down there, I really made good connections both with the instructor and the other classmates where we really learned off of each other, and I really felt like I could cook after that. And beyond that, I got job opportunities in both pastry kitchen and now a commercial catering kitchen. And so that's really helped me, grow my skill, and I feel like I can do this. I've done a couple of independent catering events where I myself in my own kitchen have cooked up these meals for parties and served them, and so it's been a good experience to do that. I've had a couple opportunities just from people I know who had an interest. They were having a small get-together or a Christmas party or something, and so they actually asked me if I would be willing to cook their dinners for them. So I've done a mac and cheese bar, I did a steak meal for a group of people, and so that's just kind of an opportunity for me to kind of practice my own skills and just kind of learn catering a little bit.
It goes without saying that having a student like this in class is priceless.
A student that is great to have in class. I can't imagine, I wish I could, like I said, I wish I could bottle that up a little bit and just say, here, even just take pieces of this, because I think that you could be very, very successful. And he's just done his own path and has been perfectly fine with that, and I think that's really cool.
Because Nick is so approachable, because Nick is so well known in the school, he's also really open, like, I don't know how to do this, let's figure this out. And he serves as that example for those students who recognize that Nick has to work for what Nick has. He's worked so hard for the success, but he's also been really transparent and honest about what that looks like. He started off scrubbing toilets at a hotel, and now he's helping set up events. That's a long ways to come, but to have that living, breathing story walking through our school is really inspirational for a lot of our underclassmen, for kids who see, okay, this is what internship is about, this is what a co-op is about, this is what can happen if you get your foot in the door, if you work hard and are willing to learn. Nick is so interesting because initially he comes off as shy and kind of reserved, but he's not. He's quirky, he's goofy, he's outgoing. He is a really strong, quiet leader. When you first meet him, you don't expect for him to sit down in a group and rally the troops. You think he's going to kind of sit back and watch things, but he does. And he doesn't rally the troops by yelling and shouting and doing all those things. He's like, hey guys, how about we try? Hey guys, how about we try? He's an encourager. He's a motivator. He's a caregiver. He's working in the service industries because he wants to pour into others and make sure that they have good experiences. That form of leadership is contagious. Not only that, when you lead that way, people want to follow. And as a teacher, that's so nice to have, especially as a teacher, as I realize what kind of leader he is, as I learn more about Nick, it offers me an opportunity to use Nick's skills outside of just a group setting. Nick has a sense of purpose, Nick has a sense of opportunity, and Nick does a really good job of presenting that. So if I have a situation where I need a student as an expert, I know Nick that Nick can be that expert. I have an opportunity where students have feedback, they may feel more comfortable going to Nick, and Nick can be that liaison, bringing that to me. And I feel that Nick brings to the classroom an ability to make a challenging, open-ended project, exciting and fun because of what we talked about a little bit earlier, that willingness to learn. Like, oh, this sounds like a lot of fun. It's going to be really hard. Let's do this. And that's contagious. And his group mates are like, oh, this is going to be tough. He's like, I know. Ready? And it's a little bit of a giddiness. And even students who are a little bit stuck, Nick is like graphite. He's not gooey, he's not gross, he's not going to get all over your fingers, but he's a little bit slippery. And he can help slide some of those stuck kids along. Whether they're in their group, in his group, or in somebody else's group, his motivation and his ability to lead that way is really powerful.
Nick is quick to credit the school and the course offerings of the Sioux Falls School District as helping him to get where he is.
At New Tech, they've really helped lay the groundwork for my business career. You know, we have so many business members and members of the community come into the school every year to just tell us about what they do, answer our questions. In entrepreneurial mindset, we listen to entrepreneurs tell their stories and talk about their struggles, and they really teach us how you can overcome those and how any problem you face, there's always a way around it. I've loved coming to New Tech. I'm really glad I did it. You know, a lot of people are drawn away by the fact that there's no sports and stuff like that, but you know, we have an administration that will work to make anything you want to do happen. You know, we have students playing soccer, football, things at other schools, and I think just the small family atmosphere that we have here is one of the biggest assets. I know everybody in my class. I've had to work with them. You know, whether I enjoyed it or not, I've had to work with them. I've just learned a lot better working with other people. We are bouncing ideas off of each other, and overall, I learn a lot better hands-on. And so when we're creating these final products at the end of our projects, I have this final document, I have this final 3D model I made, whatever it is, and I can look back and be like, I put all of this knowledge that I learned into this item.
But his teachers insist on giving credit where it's due.
Well, I think it is being able to think outside the box. I think that that's what our school does great, you know, and as well as the soft skills. Nick's not afraid to walk up to people he doesn't know and ask them questions or give them a cold call or try to seek out some of that information. And I really think entrepreneurial mindset also helped foster that within his own personality, because that's what I try to do. And he's been, you know, a poster child for that. And the students that have been in the class have really learned a lot from him as well. And seeing that it's okay, you know, it's okay to fail, and you know, entrepreneurs fail all the time, and I think that's where he found out that it was really not that big of a deal, and I can try something if I want to, and if it doesn't work, okay, I'll try something else, and I'll go a different route, and I don't think he's afraid to do that, and I think that just really epitomizes what our school's about. He works very hard. You know, when he did his internship at the Ramkota, I know that they loved him. They loved his ability to ask questions and how hard he worked. He also does a lot of catering jobs on his own, both through his church and through some different community members that he has talked with, and kind of word of mouth type thing. And I think that's what kind of has geared him towards trying to come up with this small business that he wants to do, you know, and the big picture that he has and how the steps that he's going to get there.
Anybody can open a door for you. You have to choose to walk through it. And New Tech offers opportunities through CTE, through a partnership with them, through our internship class, through our marketing classes. Ms. Schultz does a great job with that. But students have to choose to walk through it. And I think Nick is kind of an example of what can happen when you take advantage of those opportunities and choose to walk through those doors. We can open up every door in the world. We can open up every door we know about. We can try to push students through. But really, in the end, it's the students seeing that door open and going, yeah, I think I'll stick my foot in that door. And that's kind of where I see Nick taking advantage of New Tech to its fullest. And I think maybe that's probably the best way for me to describe that is, I don't want to take away from the success Nick has had, because that's Nick's. We are just lucky to facilitate or be a part of the facilitation of that success because of what we can provide. He makes fantastic connections between real world opportunities and real world possibilities. I remember we talked food a lot just because I love to cook. I mean, and almost every single day, Mr. Olson, what's your recipe today? Or Nick, what'd you cook up today? And he would always ask what if questions, looking for that next step. He's got that passion, that willingness, that want to, but it doesn't stop with a want to. It turns from a want to into a going to. And his brain makes that connection, that how do I market this? How do I pitch this? How do I make this happen? And To transition from that want to that going to takes a tremendous amount of motivation and grit. And I think for a long time, Nick was a little underestimated in that area. Not for any other purpose than he's kind of goofy. He's kind of goofy. We have a standing joke. We walk down the hall and we kind of lurk by each other a little bit because I used to scare the crap out of him in class. So he'd lurk by me. And you see that on the outside. And that's part of what endears him to his classmates and to his teachers, is that he's a goof. But don't let that goof fool you. That goof is going to take a want to or a love to and turn it into a going to. And that's really powerful. That's the entrepreneurial mindset. That's the entrepreneurial skill. That's the entrepreneurial passion that sets entrepreneurs apart. And Nick truly has that.
It's this remarkable combination of skills, determination, and willingness to work that got Nick invited here to this January downtown Rotary meeting, where he was a featured speaker.
So I'm going to share a little bit with you about how local businesses here in Sioux Falls have impacted my life as a high school student. Downtown Rotary every year requests a couple of junior Rotarians from every school in the district. And so as one of our senior class officers, I had the opportunity to go be a junior Rotarian for the month of January. And so I went down there and I get to meet with all the Rotarians and hear what they have to say. But as part of that deal, they asked that I speak once. So I got to go down there and just give a 3 to 5 minute speech about whatever I wanted. And so I really wanted to connect with those businessmen and women in that room and how their input into education here in Sioux Falls has really helped me, because we've had a lot of community members that come into Sioux Falls New Tech and really have mentored me through my high school years. And so I really wanted to thank those who have sponsored or volunteered their time.
It's a remarkably well-focused effort that's leading toward a degree in business administration, followed by...
For me, I'd like to see all this experience come together and eventually lead to my own hotel, restaurant, casino, my own hospitality business. I really like the hospitality industry, working with people, making a good experience for them through food and entertainment. And I also really like the idea of the business side of it, knowing the finances, the human resources side of things, just kind of managing all of that all together while also being able to create a good experience for people.
I see just about anything that he could want to do. I think he would be successful. I really believe that I think if anybody can start their own business and work it through and be willing to make adjustments and be flexible as they go, I think that would be Nick. I also think that he would do fine at school, no matter where he chose to go. I know he has had a couple different ideas of where he wants to do, what he wants to do. He'll follow through. I don't see him as somebody who's just going to quit at the last minute or anything like that. I really feel that even if he finds out it's not the path that he wants to lead, I really feel that he'll be able to adjust and say, okay, I'm going to go this route now instead. I just think he will be successful pretty much in whatever he chooses to do. I'm going to miss him. He's a great kid.
Nick is one of the best human beings walking through the hallways. And that's to say something, because there are an amazing number of really awesome human beings walking through the hallways of New Tech. But Nick truly cares. And for Nick's future, I see his passion, his desire, his I'm going to do this, only enhanced by that good humanity. He doesn't let doing what's right get in the way of doing something else. He figures out a way to incorporate that. So as Nick moves forward in post-high school career, he is going to make for me, I see him making a name for himself, because he's going to offer services and skills and opportunities to whomever he works for and whoever he works with that will surpass just good service, that will be renowned for a good job, but also a job well done. That people remember him not just because he was a good service, but also because he was a good person. And that's really, I think, a really cool combination of, I can do this well, but I'm also going to do it right. And of all the things that I'm really proud of Nick for, it's that ability to balance. I'm going to do this well and do it right. He has not forgotten how to be a good human being in his pursuit for doing things the best that he absolutely can.
And in the spirit of a good human being, Nick has priceless advice for younger students looking for internships and jobs.
When it comes to the internship, I had a student in the internship class right now who was talking about how they were hoping a job would come out of what they're doing, and all I can say is, you just gotta get hands-on and you gotta help and get in there, and don't stand back and watch just because you're an intern. If you can, get your hands dirty, and that's what I did. I walked in there. I wasn't just gonna stand there and watch them cook. I wanted to get in there. I wanted to do whatever I had to do.